Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecasts, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great, exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, so let's get right into this. Right, we've had some great weather for the past couple of weeks. Saharan dust is kind of keeping the moisture away, which is good. We might see chances of rain a little bit more this week now that the dust is kind of wavering off a little bit. But yeah, that's how we're going. Hold on one second here. Let me just tap right there. There we go. Yes. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So let's talk fish. Right. First, we got Daniel. I am not sure whether this is a pike or a walleye. I don't know much about freshwater fishing, much less from up north. But hey, we got a fish. Right. It's definitely something up there. I know I'm right with one of the two. I just don't know which one it is. Anyway, maybe someone can set me straight on that. Great catch. All right, so let's get out of the fresh water. We'll go inshore. We got Marla Kennedy Aleva out there. This was I saw a video she posted. This was her first cast, and yeah, she ended up back in the mangroves and stuff on another one or something. Yeah, great cast. Always catching snook and redfish and stuff, man. Good deal on a paddleboard. Getting it done. Hell yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, everybody, ICAST is happening up in Orlando this week. So if you've never been to it, you might want to give it a try. All right, let's see. We're going inshore a little bit. I know we see all the goodness here. And trust me, there's an inshore bite. We're going to show right here. Here we go. Mangroves, right? Remember, the mangrove snapper spawn is happening, folks. Get out there and hit it up if you can. This is Tony. He went out 5 miles out of Islamorada, which is about right. You got to get to that reef, and down in the Keys, the reef line is 5 to 7 miles out, and then you're in that territory. So, yep, that's about right. Hitting up that snapper spawn, get it. Well, remember, the mangroves are going to be chewing for a good couple of months. So, you know, if that's right up your alley, go on ahead and go do it. All right, here we go. We got Yasmini. Palm Beach, lots of current, but they got it done. And there's a bunch of yellowtails, and I'm just, I see the yellowtails and all, but what I'm looking at is this jumbo mango right here. Look at that bad boy. Man, that's a solid one. All right. Let's keep on keeping on. Hey, there's Pedro. How we doing? Oh, it's a pike. Hey, I told you I was right on one of the two. Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate it. We're going to get to you right now. Let's show Pedro. You see, as a matter of fact, no, okay. We're going to give Pedro a good one here. This is his catch. Yes, he talks about it. Out until 12, toasty out there, drank like 2 gallons of water. Anyway, he talks about his wife. Yes. He's got a bunch of nice muttons here. And he was, Anna was putting on the clinic for him. We can actually show, because he was brave enough to put the post right here on the leaderboard. There she is, the star of the show right there. So, gotta give him, tell Pedro to take a little bit of notes on how to do it. But hey, they're out there slaying together, staying together, get it done. Oh, while we're at it, we got Paul. Paul recently joined the group, I guess, and he's showing off. Got some tuna, tuna and mahi, mutton snapper, looking to go out. He's fishing at a Boynton. Yeah, but we love her. Looking to fish out of Boynton. He said he rebuilt this boat, Aquasport. Awesome. So, hey, perfect. All right, let's get back to our pictures. All right. So, yes, again, also, mutton snapper are biting. Obviously, if Pedro will leave any in the reef for anyone. Quite possibly not. Chance out of Stewart. Mutton and a dolphin. Best of both worlds. A little bit of trolling, a little bit of that going on. You got a spam risk caller coming in right now. My favorite. All right. Yeah. Dolphin and mutton snapper. That's the talk of the town right now. Out of Key West, Barracuda for Daniel. Hey, that size right there is perfect eating, right? It is. We've gone over this. We have had the questions. Let's see what we got here. No, we can't. That's long range. That's not even in range. Okay. All right, we're going to start talking. We may as well show off Mike's. He went out to Pulley Ridge, and he's got a cooler full of red groupers and mutton snappers. Man, awesome. And he also said out there, the taxman is still out there on Pulley Ridge, folks. Look at the size of that mutton snapper head. That thing, damn, still a legal mutton snapper even after it got taxed. That's always the joke, right? All right, let's start showing off some pelagics. Everybody's on their dolphins, right? Here we go. We got James Montgomery. Took off with his son. Nice bull. He headed out to the sword grounds. Too much seaweed, ran back into a line with a kind of clean line on it, and eked out a cow and this nice bull. So, hey, good there, man. Put in that work. I know he took a picture of himself with it, too. Here we go. And you see there's the cow on it, half the size. So they got the nice bull right there. Good going. All right, Gwen. They limited out quick. Had 3 on at one time, which is amazing. Man, triple headers. That's chaos right there. All right, so the blackfin, the footballs are swimming around. Todd, I saw a bunch over by Walker's K. Yeah, he had a good outing. This is one of the, the stars of the show, obviously, is this yellowfin. But, hey, multiple blackfins and yellowfins. Man, getting it on the deck. That's a nice fish right there. All right, and more. Andrew out of Tavernier. Buck full of yellowtails and a boatload of dolphin. I mean, hey, cannot complain about that, man. So the fishing is good, folks, right? Heath, can I talk about how and where to target mutton snapper? Yes, we can have this discussion right now. Mutton snapper. Target depth is, I tend to say, and if it's the spawning season, which is May, you can go and get them shallower, 30 foot or so, 30, 50 foot. Every other time of the year, they're really reef-dwelling creatures, right? And they hang out 90 to 150. If you can find structure where there isn't too many sharks, that's the best stuff. If you can find wrecks that aren't too sharky, right? Other than that, like in our area, the second reef sledge is literally 90 to 120. So you fish that area, and then you can head off out into 150. You need a long leader. In those depths, you're going to want to use a sinker, a sliding egg sinker above the swivel. And, use 1 ounce, 2 ounce, get you down there. And then your leader, man, your leader's going to be 30 to 50 feet. Now, in these depths, you are going to periodically run into kingfish and false albacore and stuff like that. But that's how you want to fish. You want to fish with like a double, maybe a single octopus hook, circle hook, and use a whole frozen sardine or goggle eye, and that will, that'll produce you some good results. You can also use fresh baits like ballyhoo. It's a local bait, fresh gogs, thread fins, all that stuff. But, I've had the most success actually with frozen sardines. All right, enough of the mutton talk. Hopefully that is able to help. We can always go on the YouTube channel and poke around through some of the mutton snapper seminars and tutorials we've made over the years and see if any of that works for you also. Or you can hit up Pedro. Pedro knows. He catches them all day, every day. All right, let's talk. Let's get back to our fish. We got Neil Link, palmbeachcharters.net. Takes you out, puts you on some fish. He's got a nice kingfish right here and some snapper, mutton snapper, and he said plenty of bonita out in Palm Beach. Of course there are. You can't go wrong with be patient, look for them. That's the only thing I would add. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Patience is, you're gonna hit it all. Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate it. There he is, the best of Boynton. He's in the house. All right. Kingfish, yes. So if you're out of the Palm Beach Inlet, right, Peanut Island area, looking for a charter, Link, take you out. Go out there and have some fun. That's a nice kingfish too, They're swimming around right now. Might have to go try and wrangle a couple of them. Jimmy, speaking of Captain Jim, best of Boynton, took this kid out, had 17 fish. This is a 3-peat customer, and Jim's obviously having some fun. Come on and hit the like and share and sub. I agree with you 100%. Got out there getting on the albacores and the mahi. keeping them happy, keeping them busy, and of course, having a little bit of fun while we're at it. That's the point. Listen, Captain Jim, 4J's Charters, folks. Check out his website. Check out his YouTube, his Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. They all the catches and all the excitement is all on there. If you're looking for a captain out of Boynton Inlet and you're in that area, hit him up. 4J's Charters. All you got to do is Google it, and a million things pop up. So, if you can't get a hold of him, hit me up, and I'll put you directly in touch with him. We got his cell phone number. We can text him. All right. Anyway, yeah, Captain Jim, having fun. Let's keep on keeping on. We got the Poley Ridge pictures. More dolphins, 725 out of Boynton. So this is the typical, there it is. You're welcome. Hey, no, thank you for all you do. You've done a lot in life. Yes, this is the typical catch that you're going to see, right? The schoolies are showing up. They're in between 700 and 900 where they've been being fined. Yeah, it's a slow go. Summer's hot. Sometimes they're only eating live bait. Sometimes they're only eating squid. Sometimes they're only eating, Lord knows what. Other days, only troll baits get them. I've been out there where the trolling was happening. Everybody else kind of sitting there watching us. And we got lucky. But hey, then there's other days where we're trolling and, we're watching everybody else pick off fish. So, figure it out. Righty. More mutton, Jason. There we go. More dolphins. So the dolphin are out there, folks. They are not gone. If you're going for them, I say go out there and go get them, because soon it's going to peter off. They're all going to become, peanuts, and that will be that. All right, let's talk weather, right? We've got some great weather, dried out, right? Like I said, it's hot. It's going to be in the mid-90s all week. Oops. Philly. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Bear with me. I closed the website instead of opening it. Classic. All right, here we go. Okay, let's move this here. Okay. Now we'll get into our weather. We're going to look at windy, right? So, folks, if this is your first time with the show, the next 4 websites, if you are interested, the links to them are in the description of the video. You can go on ahead and they're public websites. These are our forecasting models. This is not set in stone. Things change on a daily, if not hourly basis. So when you're planning your offshore excursions, do not shoot me if all of this is wrong come tomorrow. Or trying. All right. Let's go on. Yeah. No, folks. Always. Use these whatever apps you got that are your favorites, right? And make sure you check your inlet cams, your beach cams, all that stuff for the reality of it. Don't be afraid to stick your head out the window and check the weather too. All righty. So here's where we're at right now. Let's look at tomorrow. Today's a wash. Tomorrow we got. So the great thing about windy, right, is you can click and point. Windy's going to tell us you click and point. It'll tell you your wind speeds, wind direction, wave heights, wave directions, rain accumulations, all that. You can also, down at the bottom, it's a nice color-coded chart right down here at the bottom. You see my cursor hovering over it. That it's pretty cool because that correlates with what you see here. So right now we're talking wind speed. So you see right offshore, it looks like it's in this area, which is between 5 and 10 knots. So there we go. And we got wind direction. You can also see which way they predicted to be blowing, which will be in the west, down a little further down in Miami area. It's coming from the south. So there we go. That's a quick little 1-2Z on a windy. All right. So tomorrow morning we got light work. More up north, 8 from the southwest. So it's looking like we're gonna have. It's gonna be hot if that wind's blowing from the west, folks. Remember that. Got lots of hot land to blow over. It'll come in the afternoon. And when it looks like you're having like a variable day, all the wind not really knowing what it wants to do. And that's been kind of what it is all week too. It's this sort of weather behavior can kind of throw your fishing off, especially if you're fishing the reef. But except Pedro, the wind does whatever Pedro says it will do. All right, so yeah, 8 from the southeast, 9 from the southeast come afternoon. And remember, we're in that summertime weather pattern, right? So storms in the afternoon. Don't be surprised if you see them, especially with the Saharan dust. They still have the ability to build up. And, onshore breezes in the afternoon, wind picking up. All right, Friday, yes, wind from the southwest. So, yeah. Wind from the southwest, right? So in the mornings, it seems like we're having our winds, a little bit of the westerly direction. And then in the afternoons, they tend to want to swip around and go. Then again, maybe not. So we're looking at kind of westerly winds, a little bit of westerly wind. So that might actually push and clump up some of the seaweed that we've been, dealing with for the last, I'd say a couple months now, right? Seaweed bloom's been going on. It's been, everyone's been hammered by it. And, you got your choice: troll about 30 seconds and pick weeds off, or live bait and do something that works for you. All right. So that's Friday. Saturday, 7 knots on the south, down in the Keys, a little bit lighter. Up by Tampa Bay, they're taking a west wind, 8 knots. So they'll have a little bit of chop out there in the shallows, heading towards all the piers and all the good fishing spots. Palm Beach County, yep, Tri-County area, right? Up near Mike and Vero Beach, St. Lucie area, 5 knots from the west. So very light winds, very calm days coming up for us, which is good. We could use them, right? 4 p.m. Again, don't let this spook you. That's the afternoon onshore breeze. Come Sunday morning, we got an 8 knot wind from the southwest, so it looks like it might want to stick around. But again, remember, just because the wind starts blowing for a couple of minutes doesn't mean the ocean's going to pick up. Come the afternoon, looks like it's going to amp up a little bit Sunday. So according to this, looks like we're going to start getting some wind overnight from Saturday into Sunday, and we'll see if everything else jives with that. In the Monday, let's see what happens. Monday, it looks like it wants to stick with us. So it looks like we got the rest of this week and about half the weekend before the wind starts blowing and causing us some trouble. So let's go back to tomorrow morning and let's look at our waves and see what that does. Right now, like I said, beautiful waves. 1 foot at 7 seconds. So we got like a tiny glassy ocean out there right now, right? Down in the Keys, we're looking at 2 foot at 4 seconds, which is, they got the Florida Straits, which is the glassy flat seas down in the Keys. Anywhere is not necessarily, that's hot stuff. That's not good fishing weather. All right. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 foot 6 seconds. So it's still beautiful ocean, but it's going to be hot out there, folks. Bring tons of water. Nice. Again, it's still 1 foot all the way through Friday. Right, even in the Keys, we're going down to 1 foot. We get flattening it out down there. Friday, Saturday morning, same stuff. 1 foot 5 seconds. Our period shortens a little bit heading into Saturday morning. Look like down in the Keys, they light work too, or by Tampa, even stuff. You never really see much of any significant wave heights. Everglades National Park or none of that. There's just not enough water to move around. So. All right, and then Saturday afternoon, look like it still stays the same. Now remember, overnight our winds are going to start picking up. So here's where we got to watch and see what's going to happen with our wave heights. So we're seeing a little bit of a darker shade. Remember, as the ocean turns this darker aqua shade, that means our wave heights are going to be increasing. The lighter shade is where it stays nice. So it's still staying 1 foot into Sunday morning, and come Sunday afternoon, then we start seeing our waves pick up. With what? Oops, I didn't. How did I do that? That was awesome. I'm sorry, I'm messing around. I did something. I brought up some graphic I've never seen before, which was kind of cool. Oh, there it is. Ah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know I could do that. So I just learned something new. You can click on your city and it'll give you the buoy that's out of those inlets and all of its readings. Very interesting. Cool. Okay. All right, let's move on before I'm sitting here playing. Yes. So Sunday, 2 foot in the afternoon, right? Heading into Monday, same thing. So our wind's going to pick up a little bit and you're going to see the wave heights pick up. And as you can see, all in the Gulf and everything. I think they were talking about there's a little bit of a disturbance in the Gulf. There's a 20% chance of it rolling through this area sometime. I would imagine that's what's causing these winds. So we'll see. All right, let's head back to tomorrow morning and let's look at our rain. We got all the Saharan dust kind of keeping our rain at bay right now. So tomorrow afternoon, again, Storm build up in the afternoon. Don't be surprised to see a sprinkle or two. Friday, a little bit out in the ocean, and again, as our Saharan dust tends to peter out, you will see the return of moisture and storms in the sky in the mornings and in the afternoons. Friday afternoon, there we go. Saturday morning, a little bit of offshore moisture. Doesn't look very stormy or nothing like that. But like I said, remember I told you there was a disturbance, they said, in the Gulf. This is what it's looking like. So they're saying Saturday it's going to be getting close and kind of getting ready to come over Florida. Saturday night, yeah, it's kind of looks like it's going to break up as it hits the panhandle up there near Tallahassee. Very good. So yeah, Saturday afternoon we get that onshore rain again. Sunday morning, not much, a little bit of that offshore moisture like you see in the morning. You see the clouds on the horizon, they kind of look like mountains blocking out the sun. Sunday afternoon, typical, onshore rain. Monday morning, so we got our wind starting to really rip again. And again, so it looks like that disturbance is actually, they're saying it might regroup and build up and just hang out there for a couple of days, which is kind of crazy. So that's just something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And I don't think it's going to affect us much down here other than wind and stuff, if it really does anything. All right. And Monday afternoon, again, more the same. Okay. So we're going to go on that. We're going to move on to WINDFINDER, which is basically the same weather forecasting model, but it's just all numbered. And of course, I opened up Facebook instead of WINDFINDER. That's fine. We got this. All right. We'll go to WINDFINDER. There we go. All right. So numbers and arrows and stuff instead of graphics, right? So let's look at tomorrow morning. We got like I said, these variable winds, southwest, westerly, south, all that. Very low winds, cloudy all day. Saharan dust and stuff. So that's what we got going on. And our waves, again, 7-second period, like they had said, from the northeast, 1 foot. So right now we're jiving with what everything says. Friday, our wind speeds start picking up. They start picking up a little bit Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday, right? So here's where we get the discrepancies going on, right? So here, Friday and Saturday, they're saying, the winds are going to be light. The waves are going to be light. 5-second period, 1 foot waves, which is good. Partly cloudy both days. Now, Saturday night into Sunday, they said, hey, on the last prediction, the last forecast model said, hey, we're going to start seeing some winds rip. Right here, Sunday into Monday, they're saying nothing. See, still 1 foot. Nothing even in the days after that. So we will have to watch and see, we got a little, what's going to be the reality. So what's happening is this forecasting model is saying, hey, we're not really going to get any of that disturbance that's out in the Gulf. The other one is saying, yeah, we think you are going to get some of the wind, some of the weather from that thing. So that's what we're looking at. Let's talk about the moon, folks, shall we? Right, the moon, fish, for those of us that fish by the light of the moon. So right now we are approaching, we just passed the new moon yesterday, actually. So right now we're waxing. So if you don't know about moon phases, waxing means we're heading towards the full moon. Waning means you're heading towards the new moon. So we just had the new moon, so we were starting to wax right now. So we're at 2% today. Tomorrow, 7%. Friday, 14%. Saturday, 23. Sunday, 32. Monday, 42. So next week we'll be halfway through, right? So why is this important, right? So right now there's no moon. So if you're fishing for your goggle eyes, your stud fins, all your bait fishermen and all that stuff, they're out there right now hammering it. They got light seas, hot days and everything. They're out there emptying the ocean with every gog they can find and put on their boat, right? Once, that moon starts showing up more and more and more, the bait fishing becomes very hard at night. Now, the trade-off is that, I tend to believe that when we have a darker moon, the pelagic fishing is a little bit better. When the moon illuminates the sky a little bit at night, it tends to, it gives them more of a fighting chance to eat all night long instead of, just kind of save up energy and wait until they can find the next opportunity. Now, the mangrove snapper spawn is a better bite when you've got that full moon. So just something to think about. Alrighty, now let's move on with our moon, since we got our moon phases right now. So we're nowhere near the Wahoo moon, which would be for July if you want to try and fish that one. And soon we'll be in the August and September, October moons, which typically would be a better bite for the Wahoo. The males are going to come in, get that migration going on. All right, let's talk about tides, right? And then we'll let everybody get on with life. Tides. Why are tides important? Well, tides are important if you're fishing the inlet, right? So we'll look at it right here. So when we fish these inlets, we're fishing water flow, especially the land-based guys. The guys on boats, you can go and do your own thing. But if you are fishing out front, you're fishing an inlet, you're fishing a tidal flow. You need the outgoing tide. The outgoing tide pushes out sediments that little fish come in and eat. And then the big fish come in and eat the little fish. It's a very short, simple explanation, but that's literally the way it works. If you're fishing the incoming tide, you're going to catch nothing. Now, not only do you need that outgoing tide, you need it at a good time of day. That being, as the sun rises and a little bit after, and as the sun's getting ready to set, maybe a little bit after. If you've got your outgoing tide, like you see right here in the middle of the day, that's just as ineffective as having an incoming tide and fishing that. All right, so let's look on. So that being said, now we can look at our graphic, and tomorrow you've got an incoming tide as the sun's coming up and an incoming tide as the sun's going down. And that will carry with us throughout the weekend and until next week. Now, starting next week, we will be at the end of the outflow. If you look at Sunday right here, right, the very end of the outgoing tide is as the sun's coming up, 6:30 a.m., right? So heading into next week, we'll be fine. And, by the end of the week, you'll actually be at the top of the outgoing cycle. Hey, Yandri, how we doing? Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. So, yeah, so that's where we're at, folks. All right, we're going to let everybody go on ahead and get ready and get on out of here. And before we do, if you're on Facebook, folks, I just want to invite you to come and join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It is a private group on Facebook. So first, you got to be on Facebook, right? If you're on there, you seek out South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report right here. Down here, it says report in red. You can't see it because I'm the administrator. This group is directly what drives this live stream and this report that we have every Wednesday. Yes, hey, thank you for showing up. All right, got to go buy another set. Oh, awesome. Oh, no, not from them. No, not from Windfinder. Sorry. Text me, I'll tell you why. I'll just give you mine. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. Sorry to break the news. Anyway, yes, Facebook, right? Join this. I'm glad you told me that. Yeah. It's all good, man. It is what it is. Facebook, South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report, right? Every Monday we do a brag board post, right? You don't even have to wait for that. You can do like Paul did. Or like Pedro does, just post directly on the feed. It'll come up there. You don't have to wait for me to approve a post. You have to wait for me to approve you to be a member. You got to answer 2 questions. What's your favorite fish to catch, and are you going to play by the rules? The rules are simple. No screwing around. Every Monday, brag board time, right? Drop your post, right? If someone's bound to be the poster child, come, Wednesday night when we fire up the live stream, you're going to end up on YouTube and show the world your catch. All right, so that's where we're at, folks. Okay, everybody get on back to life. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for supporting and making this happen. We have the greatest crowd anywhere. Cannot say thank you enough for everyone. All right, get on out here. Hopefully everyone gets on out there, makes it happen for the rest of the week. And I believe I'm calling BS on that one report that says next week is going to start being windy. I think we're going to have some fun this weekend. Get on out there and make it happen. All right, everybody. Till next Wednesday. South Florida Saltwater Fishing. Going wherever the cool wind takes us.